the Upanishads in two parts, translated by F. Max Muller. Khandogya Upanishad 6.14, 14th Khanda. As one might lead a person with his eyes covered away from the Gandharas, and leave him then in a place where there are no human beings, and as that person would turn toward the east, or the north, or the west, and shout, I have been brought here with my eyes covered, I have left here with my eyes covered. And as, thereupon, someone might loose his bandage, and say to him, go in that direction. It is Gandhara, go in that direction. And as thereupon, having been informed, and being able to judge for himself, he would, by asking his way from village to village, arrive at last at Gandhara. In exactly the same manner does a man who meets with a teacher to inform him obtain the true knowledge. For him there is only delay, so long as he is not delivered from the body. Then he will be perfect. That which is the subtle essence in it all that exists has self. It is the true, it is the self, and thou, O Savatiketu, art it. Please, sir, inform me still more, said the son. Be it so, my child. The father replied. The question here asked is, the salt, though no longer perceptible by means of sight or touch, could be discovered by taste. Then, how can the sat be discovered, although it is imperceptible by all the senses? Well, just like that other thing earlier, where the person, because of some things he was doing and not doing, he was unable to recite the scripture despite being trained. The Gandharas, but rarely mentioned in the Rigveda and the Etta Brahmana, have left their name in Khandogya. Khandogya is Greek, and Kandahar. The fact of their name being evidently quite familiar to the author of the Upanishad might be used to prove either its antiquity or its northern origin. Tedious as the commentator is in general, he is sometimes almost eloquent in bringing out all that is implied or supposed to be implied in the sacred text. He explains the last simile as follows. A man was carried away by robbers from his own country. After his eyes had been covered, he was taken to a forest full of terrors and dangers arising from tigers, robbers, and so on. Not knowing where he was and suffering from hunger and thirst, he began to cry, wishing to be delivered from his bonds. Then a man took pity on him and removed his bonds, and when he had returned to his home, he was happy. Next follows the application. Our home is the true Sat, the self of the world. The forest into which we are driven is the body made of three elements, fire, water, earth, consisting of blood, flesh, bones, and so on, and liable to cold, heat, and many other evils. Now, the International Society of Krishna Consciousness and some other organizations have more or less indicated that the purport, as it's called, the commentary, the exact form of the commentary, in one way is not as important, and therefore it gets translated, and maybe the original languages are lost, but the meaning, the general meaning is preserved, and that goes on. But often, some comments are more needed or more useful to some people than others. So, the bands with which our eyes are covered are our desires. for many things real or unreal, such as wife, children, cattle, and so on, while the robbers by whom we are driven into the forest are our good and evil deeds. Then we cry and say, I am the son of so-and-so, these are my relatives, I'm happy, I'm miserable, I am foolish, I am wise, I am just, I am born, I am dead, I am old, I am wretched, my son is dead, my fortune is great, I am undone, how shall I live, where shall I go, who will save me? These, and hundreds and thousands of other evils, are the bands which blind us. Remember, the bands and the chains around Pisces. I guess isn't the chains? Is that in Aries? Which constellation of the Deccan constellations is that? But then, owing to some supererogatory good works we may have done, we suddenly meet a man who knows the self of Brahman, whose own bonds have been broken, who takes pity on us and shows us the way to see the evil which attaches to all that we love in this world. We then withdraw ourselves from all worldly pleasures. We learn that we are not mere creatures of the world, the son of so and so on, but that we are that which is the true Sat. The bands of our ignorance and blindness are removed, and like the man of Gandhara, we arrive at our own home, the self or the true. Then we are happy and blessed. The last words are really, for him there is only delay so long as I shall not be delivered. Then I shall be perfect. This requires some explanation. First of all, the change from the third to the first person is best explained by assuming that at the point where all individuality vanishes, the Father as teacher identifies himself with the person of whom he is speaking.